Some stills.
Our mint is like really out of control.
Your what?
Our mint.
Your vent?
Our mint is out of control.
Mint?
Mint. Like the herb. Like all this.
Oh, I think it's been the mint's in there.
All this beside you is mint. Isn't that crazy?
Wow.
Right?
What do they do with it?
Nothing. They just let it go out of control, and then they like will come and trim it back, I guess.
Wow.
Yeah. I use it in my water sometimes.
Ah. You just pick it up out the ground?
Yeah, honestly. I'll take it up and then I'll like wash it off in the kitchen. And then I'll put some lemon in my water and have lemon mint water. It's pretty awesome.
Zach, you're welcome to join like the interview if you want to. Like it's gonna be really casual.
I'll pass. I appreciate it.
So you just sit and watch.
I'm gonna make sure I can see what I'm doing.
Say I can move these pillows out from behind us. That'll be better.
Alright.
Boom, hidden.
Oh yeah. Okay, so we'll see whenever it stops recording us.
Okay.
Okay. I guess you
So you're gonna fly on the wall.
I gotta find the voice recording app. Do y'all know what I'm talking about? Voice memos.
I've never used voice memos.
Okay, let's hope this works. I'm gonna put my phone on D&D, so let's hope nothing disturbs it. Where's D&D? There we go. Do not disturb.
Oh, I was thinking like Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
I was like, what does that mean?
Alright, so I'm gonna see if I can sync up the audio.
Okay.
Make sure it's loud and clear.
Got it.
So I'm gonna see. I just clapped. Alright. So Maggie, how do you like Georgia College?
I absolutely love it here.
Alright, that's
Yeah.
good. So you've been here about, well, over a year now. If we count
Yeah.
Bridge.
Yeah, we count Bridge over a year.
Okay, so would you like to explain to the viewers like what Bridge is?
Okay, so Bridge is a program, it's really called Bridge Scholars Program. So it's where whether your SAT was not high enough or your GPA was not either, then you get put into a program and it's conditional. So if you pass the summer classes they give you with a C or better, then you move on into the fall as a regular student.
Alright.
Yeah. So you are allowed, or you're actually made to live on campus, and you take about 7 credits worth of hours.
So at Georgia College, did you like choose this college specifically, or were you leaning towards it because it was like something you were passionate about, or did your parents lean you towards it?
So when I first started looking into colleges, I wanted to actually be a teacher. And I knew that Georgia College had a really amazing teaching program and education program. So my brother was taking a class here in the summer, and so I decided to come with him and see what all it was about. And I fell in love with it the first step I had on campus. And it was just a nice place where it felt small enough where it wasn't super overwhelming for a new college student, and also kind of more close-knit, but it wasn't small enough where it didn't feel like college.
Yeah.
So it was still big enough, so just the right size for me, kind of like Goldilocks here. But yeah, no, I just absolutely fell in love with everything because it was a gorgeous campus. Everyone I ran into that worked here, they were super nice, all the faculty. Actually, my friend and I, we were just touring ourselves around, and we were entering buildings, we had no idea what they were. And we ran into a woman, and she was walking us to the admissions office to ask the faculty there questions about Georgia College. So it was just very nice. So yeah, I think my first impressions of it were just great people, amazing campus. So.
Would you say that Vidalia High School prepared you for the level of, how to say this, rigor that your classes are?
And
considering you're an honor student.
Well, in some aspects, yes, and some no.
Okay.
So I would say, for example, dual enrollment was easier than what I'm taking now. But I mean, then again, it's geared towards high school students, so it makes sense that it would be a little bit easier. So, like with writing, I didn't have a great foundation in writing before I even came to high school anyway. So,
Because our experience in Robert too.
yes. My skills in that were a little bit behind.
Mm-hmm.
So when I came to Georgia College, they had all the facilities I needed.
Mm-hmm.
So really in means of preparedness, some aspects yes, but even the parts where I was lacking, Georgia College gave me the resources I needed to catch up with everyone else. So different subjects, of course, are different for everyone. So for me, math is my least favorite subject.
I feel you with that.
Yeah. So I did have one math class here, but I was able to take one dual enrollment, so it kind of cleared away some of those courses for me. And honestly, even though I usually absolutely hate math, it actually wasn't a horrible experience. It was kind of enjoyable because my professor was great, and there were students in there that were kind of like me as well, and so we kind of struggled together. And it was just nice because the class is a little bit smaller, so you can't have those connections with people like that.
Oh.
Yeah. So I guess I think it did prepare me in some ways, especially in a public school. You're more around people that are a lot different than you than how we were in private school. Because private school, they're a lot of the sameness, they're very similar. So it kind of helped me with being prepared in a way of learning how to work with people who are different than I am.
Yeah.
In a very compassionate way. So in a very understanding way.
So since you did mention that you did dual enrollment, and would you say the classes you're taking right now are geared more towards a college freshman or sophomore? Or if that makes sense? Because I know personally with mine, I was a year ahead. Like, I'm assuming you were too.
Yes, I'm a year ahead, so I'm moving into my junior year this year, which is kind of crazy. But so it's kind of like hard to decipher whether it's really like a freshman class or a sophomore class, just because we were a year ahead.
Yeah.
So technically, I think these are more sophomore classes anyway. Still, I was able to take a few sophomore new classification classes this past year. So yes, I think that these would be considered sophomore classes. So that kind of helps me out some with my level, I guess, because I'm still in the mind of a sophomore with the classification of a junior. So that is helpful. And it's kind of strange too with art because you have studio classes. So studio classes, it's just practicum basically, and you're really just focusing in on your skill set. So it's a little bit more hands-on in art. So that's kind of different for art majors, I think, and I think it's going to be different for every major, really. But yeah, I think that it's still probably a sophomore class, at least in my mind.
Okay, so with you mentioning that you are indeed an art major, would you like to tell the audience about how you decided that major?
Okay, so art has always been a passion of mine, and I came into college thinking maybe a teacher, don't really know yet, and I was just kind of everywhere, and I was really stressing hard about it at the end of my senior year, and really getting in my head about wanting to know what I was going to do. And so I came to Georgia College as undecided. So they put me into my first year seminar, which is a class you have in your first semester. It doesn't actually give you any credit, it's just for your benefit. And they told us about trying to decide about a major and what are some good ways of doing that. And eventually I realized that a job that would be fulfilling for me personally and something I would be miserable in all the time would be something in art. And some people say don't choose what you're passionate about because it ruins it for you in the workplace, and I don't think that's quite true, at least for me, especially with art. Art can be a hard world, especially in college, because you have to be able to take criticism, and that's something I'm still working on because we do have one-on-one with teachers as well as peer reviews. So you have people your age or older telling you what's good and not good in your pieces. So that's a little scary.
Very.
Yeah. So art is a different beast when it comes to college.
And it's very subjective.
It is. It's very subjective. And when people ask me, I tell them, oh, I'm an art major, and they're like, oh, really? Because they're like, I barely know any, like I don't know any art majors, because there's so very few of us. So for example, the amount of graduating majors we had in art this past semester, I think was around 20. So,
how many people like graduated per year?
Unfortunately, I don't know, but
More than 20.
but definitely more than 20. I don't know the exact number of how many graduated, but so you can tell that we have very few in our department. And art is something you work your way up to a capstone. So your capstone is where you work on a piece, and usually you have something. Like the professor is telling you something about, like choose something that you're passionate about, and then make art off of that. So your capstone is something that you're passionate about, maybe a little bit something like you want to do, and like after school, and you have a gallery show at the end of the semester, and everyone comes in and looks at it, and they have a reception with snacks and all, and then you actually get in front of the crowd that's there,
Oh, wow.
and you talk about why you did the piece that you did, and your entire art career in college leads up to that.
Wow.
So you're constantly working on your skill set, you're working on your personalized love and your personalized skill. So for some people that might be charcoal, for other people it might be ceramics, others painting, it just kind of depends. So art I chose because I wanted to be in something I wouldn't be bored of. And I have a very, very big interest in my life, and it's kind of hard to pinpoint a certain major when you have so many interests.
You just kind of do everything.
Yes,
That's not
exactly. A little bit of something, So, like, I wanted to do art, I wanted to do teaching, I wanted to be in communications, I wanted, do rhetoric, all different things like that. But finally, when it comes down to it, at the end of the day, art is something I'm always going to be interested in, no matter what.
Because it's ever changing.
Yeah. So
It's like forever evolving.
exactly, and I've always been a creative person, so it was the best choice for me. And I think that's really important, trying to pick something that you're going to love. And so it's kind of hard to come to the realization of that, but I knew deep down I wanted to do art and didn't let myself, because everyone tells you artists can never make it in the world, you're never going to make any money, and yes, it's good to have money when you're older, and people also tell you money isn't everything, so you have different voices telling
But
you
you
different
need to follow
things.
your own passions.
Exactly. So that's when I decided that art was for me, and whatever I needed to do to figure out exactly what I needed to do in art, I could do it. Because art is ever changing, and you can go so many different routes.
You
in
can.
art. There's people in public relations that did an art major, so you don't have to do what you majored in. So I just figured this is something I really enjoy throughout college. This is something I'm going to enjoy after college, and it's something that I'm always going to be passionate about and I can always chase. So I think that's why I decided to do
I
it.
gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, now you mentioned Milledgeville is a very close-knit community.
Yes.
How would you describe current student life to the audience?
Okay, so student life varies in many different ways. We have sorority, fraternity, club sports, of course, actual sports with the college, and so it's just multifaceted. So we have different clubs. So, like for example, I'm on the exec board of Literary Guild, and it's one of the clubs here for people who love to read, and I'm most definitely one of those people. So I'm actually the GC Connect manager for it. So GC Connect is how we actually do a lot of things with student life. It's how you join clubs, and it's how you have your membership to that club. So I kind of handle more of membership and getting people in and out. When they graduate, removing them from that, and then when they come in, making sure they have their spot. So that's what I do. Our meetings are awesome. We have amazing members as well, and the art, of course, club has a lot of members as well, but it's just a great way to connect with people that are like you and like-minded, and make a lot of new friends as well. So student life is something that's very important to Georgia College, so they always have events going on literally all the time.
I remember you told me earlier in Zoom
Yeah.
that only the president of the college can have events in the actual governor's mansion. And I forgot to mention this, but Maggie does work for the museum.
I do.
And I think you told me that it like really fostered your need or want to be an art museum like curator. I think I said that wrong. A museum art curator.
Yes.
And I think that's really interesting.
Yeah, it is, and it's kind of cool how it all connects. So we'll have orientation, of course, for new students coming in, and literally everyone tables for that. And then we actually have people tabling all throughout the semester.
Oh wow.
So-
Okay, what does tabling mean?
So tabling is when a club will get one of the foldable tables out, and they'll have permission, of course, to table that day, and then they will have posters and like little gifts and goodies. Maybe some coffee. A lot of times they'll bring out coffee and give students coffee, and so they'll have like a way to get you interested, and then usually they'll keep in good connection with you as well. So they'll get your personal information and some texts and all that, invite you to different events they're doing. So it's really amazing, and they really try to. You're good. They really try to curate towards students, and so for example, I'm also in campus outreach as well as kudzu, and it's student ministries. So
I was telling this about kudzu earlier.
Yes.
I did not know what it was.
yeah, kudzu is our student ministry. They do a wonderful job.
I was telling about play.
The plan.
He didn't realize what the plan was.
Yeah, but they do an amazing job, and they give coffee out, iced coffee during spring semester, hot coffee during fall.
Smart.
And they're just such loving people, and yeah, so it's really great, and they have all kinds of different things for different types of students, whether that's different religions or race, different, different beliefs, so it's really awesome to have this sense of community and all of our differences together as well.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Okay, I'm gonna change the angle.
go for it.
I don't know, I'll get bored when the angle's been like a certain angle for as long of a time. Make sure like this. Beep, 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 beep. Hey, I don't know if this is still going to. Alright, it is. Good deal. Can you see me? You can kind of see me, but you don't see me like that. Can you still see yourself?
Yes, I can.
Okay, back. My shoes are coming
It's
off.
fine. It's fine.
So,
I'm gonna fix it.
where was I going with that? Okay, make sure you're still there.
Yes, I am.
Alright. Oh, okay. My parents, they always get on to me about okay, not my parents, but like my grandparents. They're always like, you need to have the traditional college experience.
Okay.
Would you say you were having the traditional college experience with Georgia College? Or do you think that that is not possible in this like new day Asian time?
Well, could you kind of specify to me what you think that the traditional college experience would be?
Okay, so my grandmother, she went to Jackson State, so did my grandfather.
Yeah.
And they everybody went to the football games on Friday night. Like they had the band playing. Like it was a whole big ordeal. Like the girls would live in the dorms in swap clothes, and it was a big sisterhood.
Yeah.
I don't know what that's because fairly my grandfather he didn't really talk about college all that much. He's just college was fun.
I would say yes and no.
Okay.
Georgia College is kind of hard to have that Friday night football, Saturday, whatever it is in college, because we don't have a football team. So, yeah. It's kind of like a running joke sometimes, at different soccer games and all, they'll actually have a little foam footballs that say GC football, and they'll throw it out to the crowd, but it's just funny, and it's something that's a running joke around here.
But I feel like y'all are big enough to have a football team.
Yeah, but
I can understand why y'all if y'all don't want to have one.
I mean, I would love to have a football team, honestly. I would go. And I think that, the traditional part about, sorority and fraternity, we definitely have a ton of sorority and fraternity options. I'm personally not in a sorority just because I don't feel like I have a lot of time to do it.
So you work and then you're
I
doing
time to do I feel like the time to do my projects with art because it takes so long, and then working, so... but I have mad respect for the girls that do it because they're constantly going, and I need the time to be chill. So, but I guess I would say that the traditional college experience with roommates and becoming close with people like that, I definitely have experienced that for sure, and it has been amazing to have friendships that become so close. And I think that I will make a lot of friends here that will become lifelong
rides.
Yeah, right, yes. So I think that part of the traditional experience would be true. But otherwise, with, a lot of the, well, I guess for a lot of people, except, not for me really, but like a lot of partying and all, like that's definitely going on here for sure. I mean, I think every college is going to have that.
Oh yeah,
But we're not really lacking in that department.
well, that's good for those people.
Yes,
that type of
it
activity.
is. So yeah, I think that we do have both the traditional college experience here, and that's kind of what I was looking for as well when I was going to college, and why I wanted a place that was going to be big enough where I feel like I was still getting that, but small enough where I didn't feel just like a number. So
Or you don't just feel like a fish.
yes, exactly.
Wow.
So I think that was a perfect fit for me, and Georgia College was a perfect fit for me in that area. So.
Okay, now, I don't know if you mentioned the faculty very much. Do you believe that they do their job to support the kids 100%?
Yes. So, I mean, I can't speak for other students and their experiences.
But in your
experience, but in my own experience with the professors I've had, every single one of them has really cared about my success and really wanted me to succeed. So, for example, I had a professor who was absolutely amazing in first semester, and I loved her, and she had to pick another class to teach for the next semester, and she asked me what class I was in. I already registered for it, so she could teach it. So she specifically wanted to be able to teach me again.
That's sweet.
So it's just really, and there were other students in there that she wanted as well, so it wasn't just me. But it was just really adorable and sweet. So I've had a lot of great experiences with my professors, and I actually look for them, like certain ones when I'm registering again. So for example, I've had one of my professors for museum studies twice now. So once in first semester, again in second semester, and now again next semester.
Okay, kind of off topic. What do they teach you in museum studies?
Okay, so museum studies kind of varies. There's 4 classes you have to complete for a minor. And so the first one is intro, and it's just talking about how museums work in general, and different kind of museums, different aspects that you have to know. So even aquariums are museums technically.
Really?
Because it's just a collection.
Y'all gonna have like field trips to the aquarium?
No, we
I
didn't
love
have
the
an
aquarium.
aquarium too, but no, we didn't get to have a field trip there, but we did have field trips to places in Macon as well as Milledgeville.
Did you go to the Harriet Tubman
We
Museum?
did.
It's great.
It is great, yeah, it was awesome. And we also went to Macon Museum of Arts and Sciences, and that was a great experience because
Have
we.
you been to the Alder Brothers Museum?
No, I haven't.
It's a good museum.
Well,
I enjoyed it, and I don't really know that much about Alder Brothers.
oh no.
I had a great time.
Yeah. So then we
Well,
also
I have
had.
a recommendation for you.
Okay.
Okay, you know what Jacksonville State is? It's in Jacksonville, Alabama.
No.
It's a good little museum. I can't remember the name of it for the life of me, but it's a great little museum. Like, that's just all affiliated, but it's small, but it's
That's cute.
it's
Well, when you figure out the name of it,
Okay.
text me. And
I'll
Yeah. But then like in museum studies too, which is what I had last semester, it's exhibit design.
Oh wow.
So I got to create my own exhibit, and it was like purely practicum. It was very much hands-on. You didn't really have a lot of lecture time, which was fine with me. But we made our own exhibits from scratch.
Oh wow.
And we even had to, there was one girl, she got a loan from the Macon Museum of Arts and Sciences, and had to fill out all the documents for it, and we like handled everything to PR, actually curating it. So it's
So she got
design.
her exhibit and
Yeah.
used it. That's very
so we all picked places around campus to display our exhibits. So there were 2 girls, we had 4 girls in my exhibit class altogether,
Oh, wow.
including me. So there were 2 girls that shared a case in the library and special collections. And then another girl did it in Underwood House, which is a gallery space that the college uses. And then I did it in the Education Building Adult Governor's Mansion. So it was a really great experience. And then next semester I'm taking an architectural class based with museum studies as well. So it actually covers a museum studies class and an art history as well, which would be great, 2 birds with one stone.
If you wouldn't mind me asking, what was your exhibit that you created?
So the exhibit I did was based off women's clothing in the 1800s. So specifically 1850s to 60s. But it was actually a comparison with the type of clothing enslaved women would have worn in the time period. So we actually did have a replica costume of a nursemaid's uniform. So Emma was the enslaved nursemaid, Governor Brown. And then I also had a like a more, I guess, frilly dress. That would be something that the governor's wife would wear.
So like some of the high society.
Exactly. So it was the comparisons of high society life and lower class.
Oh wow.
So it's also even with the types of fabric that they would use in their dresses and functionality of it. So of course, high class women being social status, making sure you're in the trends, and then with lower class women functionality. So needing an apron to wipe your hands with, or needing something that was easily replaceable, and a little bit of a cheaper fabric. So it was things like that, and it was really interesting, and I loved doing it. It was very stressful, and it taught me a lot about curation. So, for example, in smaller museums, curators have to do all those things that I did in that exhibit. So it's PR, design, curation, and in bigger museums, you have certain people for certain jobs. So if you're a curator, then you actually have someone else doing the research for you. You have someone else doing PR. So your job is just curation. It's not all the other things of that.
So do you have like a dream museum you would love to work with?
I mean, the Smithsonian always, has been something I'm like kind of dreamt about. But I'm actually kind of going more in the direction of possibly opening my own gallery.
That's interesting.
But that's something I definitely have to work my way up to. So
Where would you open it?
I mean, it definitely have to be a bigger city. And that would just really depend on life and where God takes me. So, I mean, that could be Atlanta, that could be some other state, who knows, but I definitely have to start out probably selling my own pieces and working probably at a museum, and then working my way up to that. So, but it's a dream and something that I've just thought about a little bit. It's not anything permanent, of course, but
I got you.
yeah.
So if you mentioned that you're religious, do you feel like you've relied on God to help you get through this college experience?
Absolutely. First year of college can be very, how am I going to word this, challenging. So first year of college, you're super excited, you get distracted very easily when it comes to religion, or with a relationship with God. And so for example, like, I think it's very easy, whether you're in college or not, to get in a state of asking God for things, not necessarily just wanting to be with Him. And that's something that I definitely fell into, but I think all Christians do at some point. But yes, like I had so many times where I was fully having to rely on Him because I didn't have all the answers. And I think that's when I realized it was okay to not have all the answers.
Yeah.
Like, I finally started trusting Him. So like, yes, trusting Him in middle school, high school, with certain like little things. This is like huge. This is
like your future.
This is my career. Yeah, this is my lifestyle based off my career.
Yeah.
And so it was things that were very scary, like especially with trying to decide my major. That was a major thing that I was praying about because that's scary. I'm not picking the right one. And eventually it just came down to the point where I had to tell myself that it was okay. It's okay to follow my passion. It was okay to be in a field where it may not make me a lot of money. And that's okay. And
because you want to be happy.
Exactly.
At the end of the day.
And it just kind of came down to the point of being accepting of how God made me. God knows together, He knows every little thing about us, and
He gave you your collection of strengths.
Exactly, and He put that love of art in me, and I find times in my life where I look at a sunset and I start crying because I'm like, God's the best artist in the world, obviously, but the way that He designs and fashions things, and it kind of just made me realize that no matter the decision I make about major, about anything I do in school, it didn't matter because, or of course it matters, but it didn't matter in a sense of being totally life-altering because I knew God had me. So that kind of took off some of the pressures of it because I knew no matter what, He was going to be there and I was going to end up okay.
Yeah.
You know, so that definitely took off a lot of the pressure and the build-up that I was making myself feel when I didn't have to. So yes, absolutely.
Freshman year is such a stressful
Freshman year
time.
is insane. It's the wildest ride ever.
Okay, I'm gonna fix the camera
Go
again
for it.
because like my foot's falling asleep. And
Yeah.
I left my drink over there, so I'm hoping I don't fall over. Like I look like the day homeless man that Chase does. Okay. Oh, thank you.
Well,
Alright, can you see yourself?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay.
Can you still see yourself?
Yes, ma'am.
Alright. I mean, you
Why
can
is it
like,
ghost, but I can see myself.
wait, I'm gonna actually like, I'm gonna zoom in a little bit. Hopefully I don't fall over. My foot's still about to static footy.
I have to like focus back in. I just felt like really bright for a second.
Okay.
It's like that TikTok sound. It's like bright. You're like, what is it? It's like you're haunting this house with your
With your whiteness?
whiteness. That's why I feel on a daily basis.
Alright. Can you see yourself?
Yes, I can.
Alright, good deal.
Yay.
My foot's still asleep. Where was I? Oh yeah, okay. I want to ask you about your early childhood. You can't see my foot. So, how would you believe like your parents raised you? Would you think they raised you in a very strict environment, or was it really like gentle parenting? Considering like you're the youngest of three.
Yes, I am the youngest of three. So, and I think there is a teeny bit of the stereotypical, you know, raising of a third child and the baby of the family. I would say between like the strictness and gentle parenting, probably like somewhere in between. So my parents, they were strict on us in a way that they knew like if we were doing something that would harm us.
Oh.
So of course they would stop us with that, you know, but then otherwise they would let us learn by ourselves. So, like for example, I never had a curfew, but
That's nice.
like, but I was never out super late anyway because I love my sleep, and my parents know how I am.
Well, you're a homebody.
I'm such a homebody, and so they knew that, and they also knew I wasn't going to get in any trouble that I wasn't, you know, supposed to, and because they raised me right.
Dang,
So,
even on prom, you didn't have a curfew.
no,
Must be nice.
yeah, I mean they knew I was probably going to be home like super duper late. So, but my early childhood was a dream. It was. I had the most amazing two older siblings, and a lot of siblings like fight really hard, you know, and they kind of have a love-hate relationship. But my siblings, we were always very, very close, and of course we would like annoy each other, but we'd never get in like actual fights. And we would all play together, and when we were kids, and being the third child, I've been able to observe and learn from other siblings. So let's say if they did something that my parents didn't like, then I knew not to do that. And so I would never have that problem with my parents.
Like you to watch and learn, very
Yes.
literally.
Yes, and Ashby and I have talked about this actually. That
Because y'all are in the same situation.
Yeah.
I never realized that.
yeah, older sister, older brother, us. So, but yeah, we talked about that, and you know, she has the exact same experience as I do about in that, you know, spectrum of learning from our older siblings. And that's something I've been very blessed to be able to have and say that I have. But I was always raised in a Christian home. We went to church. I went to a Christian private school.
That's how we met.
Yeah, that's how we met. And so I was always around Christians, around God. And I have told people before that I always felt like God was with me, like even before I got saved, if that makes sense. So like when I was a kid, I was singing Jesus Loves Me to myself, just like randomly. So I always knew God's love for me, and my parents definitely instilled that in me from a very young age. I'm very grateful for that, and now that I'm older, we have serious conversations, and my mom and I actually had a conversation not too long ago that.
I remember when y'all went vegan together. That is so like
Yeah.
off topic.
But we were talking about how kids can't rely on their parents' faith.
Oh, they cannot.
No. And we were talking about how I said, yes, Mom, I'm going to believe what you tell me, but I'm also going to back it up with my own knowledge. And so, because your relationship with God is your very own, you know. So that's kind of where we got to the point in. And so I've never had a moment really that I don't think that I've kind of come away from God, like, and questioned a whole bunch. Like, I have doubts like every Christian does. But
that's just
there was never,
human.
yeah, that's just human. So my childhood kind of, they did a great job
with
raising me in a way that I always knew God's promises over my life.
And I also want to think, like, not to add on, like, maybe to add on, but not like so your spotlight or anything. I've always admired the way your dad has raised you to expect every man to be Joe.
Yeah.
Because I remember you telling me about how he would never let you carry your book bag inside.
No. My dad always opened my door. He always carried my book bag from whether we were going into the car and he was dropping me off at school or we were coming back into the house from him, bringing me back home. And my dad has really set the bar so high. And like he gave us access to credit cards, but he knew that we wouldn't abuse it. And he has literally given us everything in the world, and we should be brats because we're definitely spoiled me and siblings, but we're not, and because of the way my parents raised us. And I mean, even when we were little, strangers would come up to my parents, and they would be like, "Your children are so behaved," and
y'all are always so eloquent. Like, I remember when you were in probably like 3rd or 4th grade, and like people were like saying, "Yeah, Maggie's like a 40-year-old, and that's why we don't like. She's so grown up, and it's like so well composed."
It's just always been a thing, and I really do have my parents to thank for all of that. And I'm best friends with my parents. You know, some people are like, "Oh, you can't be best friends with your parents." I am best friends with my parents.
Well, I just got progress.
I think every kid does that though. But yeah, I mean, I come home because I wanted to, because I want to see them and I want to spend time with them.
Okay, would you mind saying like what your parents' like previous occupations were?
Yes.
Like how they met?
My mom, so where they met actually was Bruton Parker College.
Oh wow, I did not know that.
Yes, they did. My mom was there. My dad was pursuing a major in psychology. And my mom was in one of his classes, and he was actually cheating on her. And
Wrong.
yeah, and later on in the library, he saw her and said, "Hey, how do you spell this word?" And she said, "There's a dictionary over there." And so she kind of turned it down. But my dad also, she was scared of my dad at first because he had a perm mullet.
A perm mullet?
Yes, and he had snakeskin boots and a black trench coat.
Oh wow, that does not sound like your father.
Yeah, but actually,
That's like some Van Halen type activities.
my mom was not a Christian before she met my dad.
Really?
She was agnostic.
Oh.
She didn't really believe in anything. And but I'm sure, like, I've asked her out before, and she's like, "I wouldn't really call myself agnostic. I didn't really believe in anything, but like, I didn't like totally rule it out either, you know." And because living in the South, you're gonna hear about God, obviously.
Yeah, the Bible will.
Yeah, exactly. So she became saved after they started dating.
Oh.
Yeah. So she would go to church with him and like meet up with his family, and so they met there. Of course, that's a Baptist college anyway. So she actually didn't finish college. She went to cosmetology school, and she was a hairdresser. And then my dad.
So that's why his hair is always looks so good.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So she taught me how to braid and all that. And then my dad, he worked, oh my goodness, where did he work at first? I think it was kind of like a Boys and Girls Club thing. It was for more like troubled children. So yeah, so it was like children in bad home lives and all, and they would like a place to go after school, and they would like homework now, so it was like kind of like that, you know. But things ended up not working out there, so he had to switch jobs, and he became interested in insurance. So that's when he gave an investment in insurance broker. So he started doing that. He worked his tail off for years. And they actually were broke when they first got married. They were eating like cereal for dinner and like canned beans and chips, like tortilla chips. But they were so in love and a young couple. And so Dad worked his butt off. Mom was being a hairdresser. My mom got pregnant with my sister. And Dad told her that she could stay home and he would just work. And they didn't really have the means to do it, but Dad really came through and provided that. Yeah, and he made it happen. And I mean, there were missed family holidays, you know, not with us, immediate family, but with extended family and all. But we were his first priority, and that really set the bar really high for Juice. So, but yes, my dad is my hero, and them together has been the very best example of how a married couple should be, and how marriage should be, especially for my sister and I, and of course my brother too. But
Well, considering that your sister's married already.
yeah, she is, and she's enjoying married life, and of course having her child, my nephew. So it's been amazing, and my siblings and I have the absolute best parents in the world, and they really prepared us for life, and really showed us how we should act and how others should treat us. So.
Also, there's another thing I really like about your parents is that they all encourage every single one of you to be your authentic self. Because, like, even now with you, but you're the youngest and you're going to college now, all of y'all have pursued different interests.
Yes.
Because Abby's a teacher. She actually taught my brother. God bless her. Tristan's a mess. And then Jesse, he's a pharmacist, right?
He's in pharmacy school.
And then you're going to want to be like a museum curator, like an art museum curator. And I just think that's so neat that they didn't try to push their own like previous employments on y'all. They just like you choose that yourselves.
Yeah, they've always been very much so encouraging of our own interest, and they never forced sports on us growing up. They always.
I remember we played tennis together.
Yeah, we did play tennis. But
You were a lot better than me.
Thank you, but that was always our choice. So they never forced anything on us like that. Our choices were always ours to make, and but of course, like for example, I actually thought about almost joining the softball team at Barbertoons because literally every single girl.
I was on it at one point, and I sucked at softball.
So you know, but they knew the reason why I was doing it.
I was surprised you never cheered.
Yeah, I thought about that too. But I thought about doing softball and told them I wanted to do it because I wanted to, and but they knew deep down that I was doing it because I wanted to be like everyone else. And so they really like taught me. They're like, "Do you really want to do this?" And they like, of course, if I really wanted to, they would let me. But they knew me.
But then you did tennis, and you killed tennis.
Thank you.
Because didn't you play tennis for about 8? Or did you not play
No,
tennis?
I ended up not doing it. Yeah.
You
Also,
were
doing
good.
other things. With
Well, you were
things.
dancing there,
Yeah, I was
weren't
on
you?
the dance team. Yeah. So yes, they always let.
Jake's okay.
Yeah, he's fine. He just wants attention. No, it's okay. I'll call him back in a little bit. He'll understand. But yes, so our parents always let us choose what we wanted to do. So, and even like with leisures, I'll tell my parents, I'm like, what can you see me doing? No, I was undecided. So like, well, I mean, I can see you doing a lot of different things, and because you're good at different
Because
things.
they're not going to want to limit you.
No.
Like, they
They
leave
do.
the world and all of their children.
And because we, love our parents so much and we trust them so much, they knew that if they gave me a direct answer,
You'd
I would
pursue
do
it.
that. Yeah.
That'd be it. End all be all.
Yeah. So, and when I asked their opinions about certain things in like life kind of choices, they never gave me a direct answer because they wanted to be my choice. And they also say too that if I end up hating what I'm doing, they don't want the blame to be on them.
That's very true. It's very true.
It is. But yeah, so my parents have always been very nurturing of all of our different interests for sure, and encouraged us to pursue those things. And my mom always told me the reason why some people are, I don't want to say attracted, it's not that, it's like, I guess drawn to me some, is because
You have this
'cause I'm
warm
not
energy.
fake.
Like you're very like genuine.
Well, thank you. And that's the thing that she says, is that because I'm not trying to be anything else but what I am.
Yeah. You're very down to earth.
Yeah. So and I don't want to show people anything, what I am. So it's kind of like a take me or leave me kind of thing, because growing up, they always gave us confidence, and they always told us how amazing we were, especially when we were dealing with bullying and all, and of course, they're always going to be on my side because I'm their kid, but they always were instilling, things like self-worth into us, and that helped me tremendously as I got older and grew into a woman.
And I remember seeing your little or the affirmations and Bible verses that are on your mirror.
Yes, my mom, she would put verses up on our mirrors, and there's actually one next to my bed. It's like, oh my goodness, it's the prayer. It's horrible, I can't remember the prayer.
You're human.
I'm human, but it's like maybe lay down in peace, make me dwell in safety, and so it's just things like that. And my parents always instill Christian beliefs into it as well, and I know that my confidence comes from God and who I am and how He created me. So my parents always did a great job of making sure we were confident in ourselves and then what we wanted to do also, and in our different interests. So, and they never try to persuade us not to do certain things. So, down the art road, they never told me, don't do it, they never...
they never wanted to limit you.
No, ever. And that's something that, has kind of taught me, and it's kind of helped me see how I want to raise my kids one day, and it's how they raised me. So they did a wonderful job.
So with you saying, speaking about how your parents always raised you to be your most genuine, authentic self, would you say that Georgia College has embraced you for who you are?
Yeah.
That's very good.
Yeah. I mean, you're always going to have people that believe differently than you, and might have certain opinions that don't line up with who you are, and that's fine, and it's free country, freedom of speech, and that's totally okay. And it's okay to have people who don't love you, and don't see things the way you do, and totally rule you out because you do believe differently. And that's okay, and it's going to happen. But for the majority of the time, Georgia College has had people, students and professors, that make it very well known what their beliefs, and it might be the complete opposite of what you believe, but they still embrace you, and they still respect you. And I've had experiences where I've overheard people talking bad about Christians, and
I have to.
yeah, right. So, and it's going to happen because we got so that we'd be, persecuted, and it's the way it is, and that's okay. But I've also found people that are in different religions, that are in different beliefs, and they love me for who I am. And
I feel like our friend Asha is a great example.
Yes, exactly.
She's handy.
Yes, she is, and so it's great having that love and respect for each other, no matter what. And so yeah, I think that I have had some really great experiences in college, learning how to be compassionate and loving towards people who are very different than I am, and being able to nurture those friendships in a way that's still good for me with, healthy distance, but also closeness as well, and getting close to people that have different beliefs. So, yes, I think Georgia College has done a wonderful job nurturing different types of people, and whether that's religion, race, belief, whatever. So.
I feel like we've winded down to the end, but thank you for giving me your time.
Thank you.
And I don't know when this will be out, but I would just like to thank you for letting me interview you to be my guinea pig.
I love being guinea pig. It's okay. Yeah. But thank you for inviting me to it.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
I'm not leaving just yet. So.
Yeah, don't leave yet.
Okay. I gotta figure out how this is gonna work. Dang, it's over 50 minutes.
You're gonna have a lot to work with.
Oh yeah, I was still recording. That is awesome. This video is 19 minutes long. Oh yeah.